Are we gonna say should we accept the request? Do we have to do that?
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on. I'm doing that. Okay, I guess they're all in now.
So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the final week of Lockdown Journals. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Zaira and I am 15 years old. I live in Hyderabad and I'm in grade 11. Today, I have two wonderful guests with me. I have Simha, who is a budding actor and just made his debut last year. And I have Greeshma here with me, who is a stunning model. And she started modeling when she was just 18 years old. Hello, Simha and Greeshma.
Hi,
How are you guys doing?
we're doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So,
Yeah,
how are you doing, Grishma? Are you nervous?
I'm really nervous, and I
Me
feel like
too.
I'm going to burst out laughing any second because every time I'm nervous, I just start like laughing for some reason. Yeah, and I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. Are you? So, Sima, when did you start acting? Like, what got you into acting?
So it's pretty recent actually. To be honest, I never thought it wasn't like from the beginning. I knew I was getting into acting. I wasn't sure really. I always had it in at the back of my mind, but I wasn't really open about it, or I wasn't sure about it, to be honest. I dropped out of college. I worked as an assistant director, and that's when I actually got to observe movie making closely, and it's like a slow process, to be honest. I wasn't really interested in act. I mean, I was interested, but I wasn't sure about it since the start. So it was very recent, about like 3 years ago. There was that I thought, yes, I should be properly into this.
So,
That's
like, did you
interesting.
always know you wanted to go like work in front of the camera or with the camera?
No. So I knew that I definitely wanted to do something with films, because that's all I knew, because that's what I had a lot of exposure to. I did a short-term photography course, and I worked as an assistant director for a while. Everything I did was around it revolved around movies, but I wasn't sure that I was going to be in front of the camera. That was very recently. That was like, yeah, as I said, it was about 3 years ago.
Do you think being in the film
That's very
industry
interesting.
is super intimidating, or like do you feel like you have to constantly keep changing yourself to fit in because you're a part of the film industry now?
Yeah, I mean, it could be intimidating, it could be scary, but I just guess you shouldn't let it get to you.
You guys are on mute.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I just think you shouldn't let it get to you. Uh, and you shouldn't be, I mean, yes, you would be intimidated, but I think it would hamper your creative skills, because filmmaking is something creative, and it would be better.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, can you
Hmm.
tell us, for those of them who don't know, the audience, can you tell us the name of your first movie and what it was about?
Yeah, so my debut movie was it's called Mattu Vadalara. It's a Telugu movie. It came out last year in December, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's a crime thriller, and it also has some dark humor in it. So yeah.
Oh,
Oh damn.
that's
So
nice. So, Grishma, the same question for you. what made you feel like you wanted to do modeling as your career?
Uh, honestly, I never thought I would be a model. And at the age of 18, I was just a normal college going girl who was just, doing her interior design. And just one day I just wanted to bunk class. So I bunked class, and then I saw this audition that said there was like a label audition. So I thought, okay, why not? So I went and I got auditioned for it, and I got selected for it. And then in a week, I found out that I was going to be the face of my college. So yeah, my posters were all over the city, and I think that's where my journey started of becoming a model, and that's how I got the other gigs, and that's how everything just like started to change. But I think the most evolved I've ever been is from 2019 to like right now, because even the whole lockdown and all of these things have really started to change the way I think and I feel. So even when it came to modeling, I wanted to just go deeper and like think about what else can I do in modeling now. Yeah,
That's
it's been
very
quite
cool.
a roller
Like, you
coaster.
were the face of your college.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, when you realized that you're gonna be everywhere, was like the first thought that maybe I could take modeling as a career come into your head?
No, actually, I felt nice for a second that okay, like my pictures are everywhere. But after like a month, I just didn't really like it because a lot of people started to recognize me and started to message me saying, "Is that you?" And you look so different and all of that. So I think that's where my self esteem hit also. And I became super insecure about myself and my body and the way I looked and the way I spoke. So, yeah, everything kind of changed once I was on the poster because people
Yeah,
look at you and people like, look up to you. So, there's a certain, I don't know, way of, showing people that, okay, this is how I am. So, I just wanted to be the most of me in the every year, like every version, every year. I just wanted to become and understand more of me.
And I think it goes.
that's really.
I think it goes
Sorry, go ahead.
with modeling, right? When you were talking about being intimidated, I think it's the same
Hmm.
with modeling, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I think before about 2 years ago, I would just get super insecure and anxious that other models got the gigs that I was supposed to get. So now it doesn't occur to me like, oh, they got the gigs that I was supposed to get. Now I'm more like, I'm learning. It's okay. Like maybe they are better than I am. So what can I learn from them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a very good perspective. I understand that when you were just 18 years old, everybody kind of had like an expectation from you to keep going, I guess. So,
Yeah.
did that affect your school? Like, how was your school journey?
Um, honestly, when I was in 12th, I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And I didn't know what I wanted to take up. I just thought that okay, and because I was really bad in studies, I knew for a fact that okay, I would get into designing or get into something that was creative and that would let me, just keep going in life every single day. Like that would make me get up early in the morning and I would be like, okay, like today I have to do this and I'm going to be excited about it. So I think modeling happened to me like that. Like I wake up excited in the morning because of that, and yeah, it's just very weird how modeling hit me and how I left. I didn't leave interior design. I still continue to do interior design sometimes, and I do projects side by side when I'm not modeling. But right now, I think I'm more into this industry than like the design industry. So, and it's really hard to like balance both of them together.
Yeah, I can understand. So, like, Simha, what about you? How was your school journey? And, like, were you always I don't know, like a theater kid?
So I was definitely not studious or anything. I never did homeworks. I never, uh, and Yeah, I was always interested in the extracurricular activities. I used to participate in all the theater activities, the school dramas, or beat sports, or everything else except studies. So, and yeah, and yeah, I finished my 12th, and I joined BCom advertising, but I didn't finish that. That's when I dropped out, and I started working.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So, like, you just dropped out and became an assistant director?
Yeah, I mean, for a few days unofficially, for with my uncle I worked. I didn't really officially work, but I just hung around the sets just to observe and learn, and then I actually went and worked as an assistant director.
So, did you have to, like, get an interview or something to become a director?
Yeah, I did. I had to go to multiple meetings before I got the job.
That's very nice. So, like, how does it feel? Like, you just started acting, I know, but how did it feel to be in front of the camera for the first time? Did you feel nervous or something?
To be honest, yeah, the first time I was nervous, but uh, actually, I acted as a child artist in a very few films, like very small roles, and I wasn't nervous then, but I was actually nervous when I grew up and I started acting as an adult. That's when I started feeling nervous, and I think my acting classes really helped remove that block and remove that fear of being in front of the camera
How long did you go to acting class for?
for about 6 months. Uh,
How do you like? Did acting class help you, or like when you're nervous, what do you do to help yourself get calm?
so it doesn't particularly focus on what you should do to calm yourself down, but rather it'll tell you what to focus on, how you should train your mind to read the script, to be in front of the camera, the state of mind you have to have before doing a scene. When you're so focused on that, I don't think you'll automatically be less anxious or less nervous.
I agree.
Mm,
Like every time I have a little anxiety, right? So every time I have to talk or be on stage, I just do a lot of breathing and calm down, and I just tell myself that it's okay. You're just gonna talk, and then I feel a little
I
better.
just dance it off. Like I stand up and I'm just shaking myself completely. I'm like, it's okay. Everything's
Yeah.
gonna be all right.
How do you feel in front of the camera, Grishma? Do you get very nervous all the
I
time?
love being in front of the camera. I just love being in front of the camera. I think any camera, for instance, like if even if I'm probably just dressed really well, and I would just tell whoever's next to me like, hey, can you just take a picture of me, like, because I really liked what I'm wearing right now. So yeah, I think, but it took me a lot of time to build up that kind of courage to be so confident and so comfortable in front of a camera, because about like 3 to 4 years ago, it was impossible for me to be super comfortable in front of the camera. Like as soon as the camera would come, my body would become extremely stiff, and um, I would just stop breathing properly, and my poses would come out really bad. And I think um, in about 2 to 3 years, I've kind of started to accept that, okay, this is my body and this is the way I am and this is how my face is. So I don't
What
have to
helped you
change.
overcome it?
Um, I think acceptance, like acceptance is the biggest key to everything in life. You um I just had to realize for a fact that I can't compare myself to other people. I need to stop doing that, because I've constantly done this my entire life. I've compared myself to other people because I was like I said, I was really bad in studies. So I would compare myself to other kids and be like, okay, you know what? They did so well in that exam. Like, why couldn't I do well in that exam?
The
So for
same thing
me,
used to happen to me, like when I was in school, like not now, but Like when I had school, I went to public school for a few months, and it was always comparing between grades, and sometimes it was looks, and sometimes it was why does she have more marks than me? Like I studied the same thing, and I think you like I agree with what you're saying. Acceptance makes everything better. Do you
Yeah,
agree,
and
Sima?
I do, and everyone is different. You might be better at something that I'm not good at, and it's always good to be positive about the comparison, and you shouldn't feel insecure or something because someone else is getting better grades, because you might be better at something else, and yeah.
That's true.
yeah, I think I've struggled a lot in school. I've struggled quite a lot actually. I had major dyslexia, and I didn't know about that until I was in class 4 or 5, when my parents changed me from a public school to like a Waldorf school. And now there's a huge difference between a public school and a Waldorf school, because when you shift from a public school to a Waldorf school, you realize that life is actually much more easier, and that public schools just make everything so hard for you to like just breathe in that uniform or in the way the curriculum is or anything. But no offense to that. Going to the part where I studied in a Waldorf school completely changed my life. From getting fever when there was exams, I have cried and I have struggled to wake up in the morning because I had fever, and I wouldn't be able to even write my own name or even talk like this, for instance. So, yeah, I think overcoming all of this and being in front of the camera right now and talking to a certain audience, or constantly changing outfits and being in front of the camera, or doing an advertisement, or being just in any small clip or video, it has taken a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of inner work to do that, and it just does not come just like that, like not just confidence or anything. You have to work on yourself every single day, like from the day you wake up in the morning, from the time you sleep in the evening. So it starts and ends with you.
I'm really happy. I'm sure you've come a very long way. And like, I saw some of your posts on Instagram and you look so confident. So, did your, like, what was your support system at that time when you were just going through a rough time at school?
Um, I honestly, I was really lost in school. I didn't know what was happening with me and what kind of issues I was struggling with myself, because that's how mental health is. Like mental health issues are. You never know what you're going through unless someone actually tells you that you're struggling with this and this is how we can help you. And I'm very touchwood, very very lucky to have my parents who constantly were very supportive and who understood me very well. And I had a psyche teacher and a lot of other teachers who actually supported me even till my 10th grade. And I didn't struggle alone, honestly, and I'm happy, and I'm going to tell you, this might sound selfish, but like honestly, like I'm so glad they were there because I really, really needed that. I don't think I would be able to do these things alone at all. Like I have struggled so much, and from to now, where I am in life is because of all the people who I've met in my past.
Yeah, it's always good to have a support system.
Yeah.
Did
So
you have a good
that
support system, Sima?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to I didn't have to go through so many like struggles. Luckily, I have people around me who understood what I wanted to become and supported me throughout, and guided me to channelize that my effort to in the right ways. And yeah, I'm just so lucky to have those people around.
So, Zaira, so now that you're 15
Yeah.
and you've also struggled with, dyslexia and anxiety and all of that. So how do you cope up with your anxiety, and how do you make yourself calm down now?
So I didn't
Because
have like dyslexia. I had dyscalculia. Basically the
it's
same
my
thing but
bad.
with
Sorry.
math. That's okay. So I had a little trouble in public school, but then I also switched to a Waldorf school, which helped me a lot because like
Mhm.
public schools, I think are good for only a certain type of children. I mean, like for me, I like studying, but I can't study all the time and go to classes and follow a certain schedule. Like I'm very artistic, I would say. So every time I would get anxious or nervous, I would do painting, or I just maybe like run or sit quietly and read a book, and that really would help me. But if it was like in the moment panic, I would just breathe.
Hmm. So do you know what you want to grow up and be and grow up and do?
Yeah, I'm really interested in psychology, and so my school really helped me like work through it. And I have
Mhm.
psychology classes at school, and I'm
Mhm.
like I really like helping people and understanding their problems, and it just makes me feel better.
That's lovely. That's actually good. Because
I,
I
So
had no idea what I wanted to at the age of 15. I think I was just, yeah, very, very lost.
yeah, I think it's great that you already know what you want to do.
Yeah, actually.
Not a lot of people,
thank you.
yeah, not a lot of people know that early. So it's good that you.
Yeah, because a lot of people even now are, struggling to figure out, especially during the whole lockdown, everyone is really struggling to figure out, like, okay, what do I do now? Like, some businesses are shutting down, and some people don't like the job they're doing right now. And some people want to right now finally get into something that they're super passionate about. So that's actually great. You know
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
So like I know you're a model and like you have to be in front of the camera all the time. What kind of work? Like how much work is there behind the scenes?
Honestly, I thank you for asking me this question, because people think being a model is so easy, and people think, okay, you just have to, wear a couple of outfits and just walk the ramp, or like just, be in front of the camera and shoot, and it's just a few clicks and it's done. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind that one perfect picture. So first of all, every shoot starts with sitting very, very quietly, very patiently for 3 hours, getting your makeup and hair done. And then after the 3 hours, your body is already hurting because you haven't moved around a lot. And now that gets done, and then you go in front of the camera, and then you take pictures. And it's not even one picture. You have to wear 30 to 40 outfits, like literally change, constantly keep changing and be in front of the camera and keep changing your poses. And you have to be so creative in your head to realize that, okay, you know what, I can't do the same pose again. Now I have to change and do another pose. So there comes a lot of body pains, and you need to take seconds to think about the next pose you're going to do, because the camera doesn't stop for you. So yeah, it's very difficult. And then the touch ups constantly.
Yeah.
And after the model's job is done, then there's the post production, which takes a lot of time. There's like editing, choosing pictures. So it takes the entire team to build a model and to make her look like gorgeous in front of the camera. So it's just not the effort that I put in it. I think it's the entire team.
That's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
for this, like the same question for you, Simha. Why? How much preparation goes when you're shooting a scene? I know, like, you have to take a lot of cuts and there's a lot of like reshooting and stuff. But how hard is it?
So the one thing I would like to mention is not everyone follow this, but script readings help a lot for the actors. I'm just talking about focusing on actors for now. So what the actors we do generally is we put a lot of effort like during the script readings. and we sit with the directors and the other couple of actors, and we go through the script multiple times, like for weeks together. And that's where I actually think we need to put in more time so that we save a lot of time on the set, and it'll be easier for the director and everyone else, all the other crew, to shoot easily. uh, yeah, I think that's where we put in the most effort, to it's when you start fresh, so you don't know much about the character. You go through the script multiple times with the other characters, and it's like building the character. What each time you go through, you discover something about the scene or about the character, and you keep adding that into your scenes.
That's very interesting. So you read the script very well.
Yeah, I personally do, and a few people do, and not some people do it naturally. Some people don't. Some people might not require many script reading. Some people just can walk into the set and deliver the scene, and that comes with practice. But it is recommended for like all the beginner actors to do a lot of script readings with the director. That will help a lot.
What helps you get into character?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Like, what if there's a scene where you have to really cry your heart out or like really be super angry? How do you kind of, prepare yourself for that and okay, be like, okay, I need to start crying in 5 seconds. Like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah. So one thing I didn't know, and which I would have done if I didn't go to my acting classes. But one thing that I was taught during my acting classes was that we well, there are different types of act. There are different methods to achieve what the director wants. There's no one true way to act, and everyone there's no and nothing is right or wrong. But what I believe is I shouldn't I won't focus on, okay, I should cry now, or I should be angry, or I should make my face this way, or make a particular expression. I think for me it's the thought that matters a lot. There's something
Hmm.
happening, right? The other person has met with an accident, so that thought will put me in that mood, rather than me thinking, oh, okay, I should be sad now or something like that. It's the thought that will get me into that position, really believing
So,
that actually. Yeah.
So,
do you
do you think that now that we're in the industry and we meet all these actors and big people and work with certain people and so do you think is it easy to get carried away in this industry?
Carried away in the sense,
Like in any sense, like do you usually like get carried away by people, by the way they talk, by the way they speak?
I see. Yeah. So yes, especially in film industry, because it's something which exposes you and which gets you fame, and it can get you instant fame, and people tend to get carried away, and everyone. I mean, but you should. I think you should just step back and think what's the truth around you, and it's very important not to get carried away, because a lot of beginners are very starry eyed. They just like the fame, and that's how they get carried away, and put them in situations they wouldn't really want to be in.
Yeah, that's very true. You really like no matter where you get, you always need to stay grounded
Yeah.
and do a lot of grounding work
Yeah.
to be in this industry. Like for example, if I'm doing modeling 4 times a week or 3 times a week, then I make sure that I'm doing a lot of breathing exercises. I make sure that I'm doing a lot of physical workout and painting and just reading a book and I keep a journal with me actually. So in this journal, every once a week, I sit down and I write all the bad thoughts, all the good thoughts, things that I've learned, things that I want to unlearn. So it's very important to question yourself to be grounded,
Yeah,
is what I think.
that's really nice. That it's nice that you write it all down. It really helps you discover yourself.
Yeah, it really does. I think being in this industry, people are going to ask you a lot of questions and people are going to put you down. Like there are times where I get a lot of hate DMs on my Instagram for no reason, and I feel really bad, and I just sit down and I ask myself that am I not worth it? Is it like how am I really a bad person? Like I get all these hate messages. I just sit and cry about it for like an hour, and then the next second I pick myself up and I'm like, you know what? They didn't struggle the way I did. I struggled the way I know how I struggled, and I know how much it took me to come here and sit here and talk to people and do things the way I want to do it now. So I'm not gonna let people put me down anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
So did you? Sorry, continue.
No,
No,
just
no, tell me.
go ahead, Zara.
Okay, so I was just saying, did you realize that when you started modeling, that with all the love and support you're getting, you also might get hate?
No, honestly, I didn't because I didn't. I mean, enemies make you stronger, honestly. Enemies make you realize what you're missing out in life, and enemies make you think that, okay, you need to work harder on yourself every single day. So I'm very grateful for the people who actually hate on me, who actually don't like me, because um, I kind of don't care anymore because they've actually pushed me to become someone 10 times more than I was going to be.
That's a very interesting perspective. How do you deal with, like, do you get any hate, Simha?
I mean, yeah, I've got a few, but I don't really let them get to me because I think for for people who are working in this industry, like let it be modeling or films or any such industry, people tend to send those kind of messages, and
Yeah, it's very normal now. It's so weird, right?
yeah,
Like
I'm
how
like,
social
yeah,
media
and I think
hate is normalized now.
yeah, and I guess when you're doing something useful and something really constructive, you kind of get those messages. When there's
Yeah.
so much love, there's automatically so much hatred from other side too. And if you're not getting any hate messages or any hatred from anyone,
Then you're doing something wrong for
then
sure.
you're probably doing nothing. Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
very true.
like, it's like if you don't have hate, then I don't think there'll be like a good balance. Even though hate is
yeah,
bad, I think it creates a balance to help you stay
I mean,
grounded.
yeah, I think it depends on a person's perspective. Like hate can actually be bad for some people. Like for me, before if someone would hate on me or use certain language, I would just start crying. Like I wouldn't even know who this person is and why this person is sending me messages, but I'd just sit and cry about it. And now I'm just like, it's a phase. Let it pass, maybe. And honestly, I just think if someone is angry at me or screaming at me or saying something bad to me is their own reflection. They are like throwing their own reflection on me, but it's them who, and they need to work on that particular part of themselves.
yeah. That's a nice way to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, like, I know for a fact that not only people in the industry, but like teenagers, like our age, for no
Hmm.
reason, like people just hate on other teenagers. Like in school, I don't know, it hasn't happened to me like in a very bad way, but I know a few people who just get hate for no reason. What advice would you give if any audience is watching to all the teenagers when they get hate?
Um, I think firstly, being a teenager itself is, I think people should change the name from a teenager to dangerous, because teenagers are really dangerous. Like when I was a teenager, I felt like I needed tons and tons of help because it was like every second of my life was survival because I would have bad mood swings and I didn't know how to understand people or things very well. So I mean, my suggestion would honestly be talk to your parents, listen to your parents, and take their advice. Like, really open up to your parents. If someone is being rude to you, talk to your mom about it and be like, okay. And if you can't talk to your parents, if you have like a close teacher who you really look up to, you can just talk to her about it. But talk to someone who's older than you, who has experienced life a little more than you have, because they might actually really help you out than your friends during your teenage. Like, do not ever take advice from a teenage friend of yours. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's the harsh reality.
Yeah, what about you, Simha? What advice would you give us teenagers on hate?
So on hatred, so I think as long as you know what you're doing, you like what you're doing, and as long as you know what you're doing is not wrong, that's fine.
That's the thing. I think when you're a teenager, you don't know what you're doing, what's right. Because everything you're doing, everything you do, you think that, okay, you know what, I'm right.
Well, I mean, if you believe you're not, you're not ethically wrong, if you're doing something you like, and if you think you're not ethically wrong, that's fine. You ignore. I mean, you should learn to ignore the haters really, because they're
Yeah.
gonna be there. They're gonna be there no matter what you do.
If someone hates on you, just be like, haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potato, and just move on.
Yeah, that's gonna be there. That's the part of this world, and
Yeah, hate is gonna be there all your life.
yeah.
Like, all your life.
I agree. Like, it's just something you're gonna have to deal with. So, apart from acting, Simha, what are your hobbies?
Uh, so I love playing cricket. That's as a child, I once even wanted to be a cricketer. It was just me daydreaming though. I had never put in that much effort into it. And I love cricket. We play a lot of cricket, and I think that's about it. Movies and cricket.
Do you find time for your hobbies usually? Like, not in the lockdown, before it started?
Oh yeah, yeah. We were pretty much free. Whenever we had time, we used to go out and play, and we used to go to our farm. Always keep playing.
What about you, Greeshma?
I'm sorry, what? What's my
What
hobby?
about you? Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you can, like, I don't know. I do multiple things at once in a day. So, like, you see me painting most of the time, and you'll see me running. Yeah. So, I don't really have a particular hobby that I really, really like to do. I like to experiment and try a lot of things. Like, I might just, wake up one day and be like, I'm not going to do anything today, just sit in bed and probably watch lots of movies. And that will just be like, okay, yeah. So, I don't really have like a particular hobby.
That's okay. Like, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing. So you
Yeah.
mentioned, Grishma, you have fun in front of the camera. Can you tell us one of your most memorable moments or the most fun you had while shooting?
I think every shoot, I've experienced different things in every shoot, and every shoot has been quite an experience for me because
What about
every shoot has a story to tell. What do you say? So, for instance, if I would, sometimes I have to wake up around 4 o'clock in the morning to go for a shoot, or 3 o'clock in the morning to go for a shoot, and each photo shoot has a different story to tell. So yeah, I think one of my best stories would be I was in Bombay and we were shooting in I was shooting for an Amazon Prime series, and we were on the most top floor, and there was sunset and I could see the beach, and I was that my scene was going on over there, and suddenly there was sunset and I would see this whole reflection in the water, and the water reflection was hitting the glass of the walls, so everything was sparkly, and everything looked very magical during that time. So I think that was one of the most best moments I've had during a shoot.
That sounds beautiful. What about you, Simha? Do you have a very like one memory or one shoot that you can't forget?
Um, to be honest, the one film I did is all of it is really memorable because especially because it was my first time and we were all, and that movie especially because most of us in it are first timers. The director, the other actors, and the cameraman, the music director, and everyone, all of us. It was the first time for us, and we were really excited about it, and we were all like beginners who were who want to give in their best and share their experiences, and it was one beautiful journey.
Yeah, wow, that's very nice. So, Zaira, you you do photography, right? You take pictures and all of that. So tell me how you became so passionate about photography, and how all of this started, and how does it feel like to hold a camera and click a particular moment?
So you guys work in front of the camera. I work behind it. I don't have a professional camera yet. And the photos I take, I just use my phone. And so it just makes me like I started photography a year ago, and just makes me feel good about myself. Like I started when I didn't have, like I'll be honest, I was really bored and I was on summer vacation. So I just started taking photos and uploading them on Instagram, and then people started liking it, and then I like thought to myself, okay, this is something I'm actually good at, so let's try. And then like I self learned kind of, and it just makes me feel really good. And every time I'm feeling low, or every time like I just capture the moment, and it just makes me feel so much better.
That's really nice.
And if you are interested in photography as well, then even with your phone, I would like to suggest that there are a few apps which would let you shoot in like manual modes,
Yes,
where
yes, yeah.
you can actually use the controls which you have on a DSLR or a professional camera. So I suggest you play around with those and watch a couple of YouTube videos, so you'll know better, how to use the controls and know better about this. Yeah.
Thank you for the
That's damn
suggestion.
interesting.
I have this
Welcome.
app on my phone. I don't use it to take pictures, but I use it for editing. And so yeah, I have a few apps, but then I'll look at more videos.
Mhm.
I have a question for both of you. So,
Yeah.
what is the most, tell me a moment that you guys have struggled the most during this lockdown, and that's what has that struggle taught you in life today?
Sima, do you want to go first?
Sure. So the my struggle, I would say, was more like it got to do with mental struggle, because I'm someone who just started off, and my first movie, my debut movie, released just last year, and I had multiple plans on my mind about my career and movies and all. So when suddenly everything is stopped, and it's uncertain, and you don't know when it's going to start again, and the one boost, the boost you got as a start is like it's been now, it's released in last year, December. And then I had this I was worried for a few days, to be honest. I was
Like work worried?
Yeah, work wise, I was really worried, that, like, and this industry is, especially got to do with age, and you should this age really matters in the profession I am. I was really worried for a few days, but I guess the people around me, again, I got my confidence back, and I was put in a good place.
That's wonderful. What about you, Zara? Do you have anything?
So, like it's the same thing, but not with like work. But I struggle a little mentally. At first I didn't mind because I'm kind of an introvert, so I enjoyed staying at home and not going to school and doing online classes. But then it kind of started getting to me, the fact that I couldn't go out, because at first they were just like, oh, it'll be just for 1 month, it'll be just for 2 months, and then like I kind of realized that this might be a long term thing, and it was kind of hard for me to accept because my boards got cancelled and I had a bunch of other summer plans and everything, and all that got cancelled. So I think acceptance. It took me a long time to accept whatever was happening.
Yeah, I think I still haven't accepted the fact that okay, I can't travel right now and go back to where
What
I'm
about
supposed to
you,
be.
Grishma? What was the worst thing you struggled with this lockdown?
I think I realized that I don't have an identity of my own. Like I'm a daughter to my parents, I'm a sister to someone, and I'm a friend to someone. But who am I really? Like I actually seriously sat down and asked this question to myself, like who am I really to myself? So I'm still working on that. I still haven't figured out who I am, what I want to do, and because okay, to be very honest, I don't think I'll be modeling for the rest of my life, of course, because my body would give up and all of this would happen. So I'm just like thinking I want to completely get into design, but that's gonna happen in like a couple of years. So until I'm young, I think I'd still stick to modeling. But yeah, so I'm still figuring out what life has for me.
Did the lockdown pandemic affect your like modeling career?
Of course, not even just for models, for photographers, for makeup artists. Like, I have a lot of friends and people, like, a lot of people who are photographers and makeup artists and stylists and all these people who really, really struggle to get work even now, even after the work has opened. People are really struggling to, get a job properly. And even if you get a job, you're not getting paid well because there's no money coming. So even the client has, issues paying you. And like they give you like excuses that, oh, like we can't pay you too much because we don't have the money to. So right now everything is a little slow and people are not getting that much work. But I hope eventually everything opens up and yeah.
What about you, Simha? Like you just released a movie. Was there another movie that you were planning to work on?
Yeah, we had multiple plans, and we were gonna start shooting in uh, May or June, but yeah, that's when the lockdown happened.
But
So
I'm
did this?
really glad actually the lockdown happened because I think the world needed this. I needed this,
Mhm.
and I really needed to understand a lot of things and accept a lot of things. So, and I feel like I've aged a little more than I probably should have this year
So
because life was kind of slow.
have you found time for yourself this lockdown? Like I'm sure like your work has gotten slow, right? So what are things that you started doing that you didn't do before?
I started painting again. I actually stopped painting a couple of years ago. I started painting again and I started reading more often. So, yeah. And
What about you, Simha?
a little toxic thing I started doing was that I started online shopping a lot. Yeah. Like that was non-stop. And then after a while, I was like, I think this needs to stop. Like, this is getting toxic, Greeshma.
Yeah, and
What about you, Simha?
yeah, so this lockdown has we really, because of the lockdown, we started spending a lot of time together, our family, and not that we spent any less before the lockdown, but we were hanging out more frequently. We had nothing else to do. It's lately it started getting to a point where everyone is working in a family now, and everyone has their own work separately, and it was kind of difficult to there was only Sundays. Now I think the whole lockdown was like a Sunday, and it was nice in one way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. like I think I lost track of time and date or day. I would just wake up and be like, huh, yeah, what do I have to do today? Let me try to, like, make a routine for myself, or probably make like 2 meals a day just so I could pass time. Does the
So
audience have any questions to ask us by any chance? If you guys wanna ask us questions, you guys can, like, you know, turn off the mute and ask us a question if you really like.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, like, what are the three things that you had to hold on to pursue your dreams? Like, you started modeling when you were just 18. So, was it difficult for you to just go in straight into modeling?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question. What?
So, this question is for both of you actually. Like, when you were when you started modeling or acting,
Hmm.
what were the three things that you had to hold on to keep pursuing it?
Um, Hold on to.
I guess
Honestly, yeah, Simba, you can go first.
I guess you need to stick to the basics, like basic, basic manners that are taught at young age. I think that applies to any industry or any person when they're starting off young. As we already discussed, it's easy to get carried away, especially in this industry, and
Hmm.
it's very important to stick to your basics and apply them at every point, and did what you did do what you did in the beginning, do the work throughout your career, not just in the beginning, but what you do in the beginning you should keep continuing it, as you grow. And I think that's good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
The,
I mean, I didn't have to give up on anything, honestly, but I really, I lost a lot of weight, so that was a plus one for me. Uh, I was a chubby schoolgirl. How did you start getting work, and what all struggles did you face? Um, I think I started getting work when I started posting a lot on Instagram. Like all the work that I used to do, I would just keep posting on Instagram, and the designers and the clients would contact me through DMs, or if they already had my number through a photographer or anyone, they would um, get my number from them, and they would contact me, and we would talk through DMs, and then that's how I would get work. And what was the other question you asked?
what about
Struggles did I
Simha?
face?
Did you have to audition for the movie, or did somebody like call you to shoot it?
No, we had to do an audition. I had to do an audition with the other actor as well, and we actually shot a portion of the film. Before the producer was confident about us, and the director was confident about us, and since the director was also a beginner, and all the other actors were also beginner, the producer suggested we shoot a portion of the film, like for a couple of days, and then we see how it goes, and then we can go. So we had to do that.
Hmm.
So you did you get the first call, like, or did they say, like, when you were auditioning, were they like, oh, you're selected, or did it like were they like, I'll have to call you back?
No, it wasn't like that. Uh, first when the director had this story in mind, and I was working as an assistant director. I just started that movie, so I had like a few months before I could get off of it, and so I told the director I'll audition anytime you like, and he also had a couple of options in mind, and he worked with those. He had me in mind, and he did all those options. He worked through it, and then he decided on it.
That's nice. So, thank you for sharing your story. Does the audience have any questions to ask Simha and Grishma?
Yeah, do you guys have any questions?
Okay, so Saitya Aunty asked me, if you have to tell us young people 5 things to be grounded when you are on the top, what would they be? Simha, do you know?
Um,
Sorry, could you repeat?
I'll repeat the question. Saityanti
Five
asked,
things. Okay.
okay, Saityanti asked, what are the 5 things you have to have when you are on the top and you need to be grounded?
Um, I think have a routine. Number one, be in a routine. That's the most important. Wake up on time, sleep on time. So once you're in a routine, you're in the right headspace to, think correctly. You don't have negative thoughts, or, you don't, you basically are yourself. And if you don't sleep on time, you're going to be cranky, you're going to be mad, and that's going to affect your work life. And two, I think, very importantly, be nice to people, be humble to people. You will meet a lot of people in this industry who are not going to be very good to you, who are going to, chuck attitude at you, who are going to be super rude to you. So no matter what, you be the nice person. You be
Greeshma,
the one.
just a minute. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Okay. I was just like, 5, like, if for young people, like, even for me as an adult, when I get praises or when people tell me I'm doing very good work, sometimes it really can get onto my head, and I found,
Hmm.
so what are the 5 things that really, like, you as youngsters who are out there and, who have got a name now, people tell you, wow, this is beautiful work that you're doing. And this constantly happens to everybody. What are those 5 things that really ground you? That, say, one for me has been my, you know, everybody
One
around
for
will
you
tell
is?
me, okay, enough now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is those
Okay.
5 things that have said,
So,
okay, I really have to ground myself. I might be the best up
so
there, but yeah. So what has it been for you,
I might
Greeshma?
not be able to name five, ma'am, but one very important thing is to keep you to have to be surrounded with the right
Yeah.
who
Surround yourself with the right people
yeah who give you
who
constructive ideas or tell you
Good.
there's
who
always
are real to you. Yeah, like surround yourself with people
because
who are real to you.
yeah, there
Yes.
are always people who praise you no matter how bad you did or how good you did.
Yeah.
So you need a reality check, and you yourself are your you should always check yourself. You should trust yourself and surround yourself with those people who give their honest feedback.
That's
Those are some good
that's nice.
suggestions.
Yeah,
Thank
that's wonderful. Yeah, Grishma, something for all things that has helped you create for us, that help you stay put, even if you're on the poster of Hyderabad city. What makes you come back home and say, I'm me?
I think my mother. Yeah. My mother really constantly keeps telling me to hold my ground. Like, no matter what, you just just stay calm, do not react to people. And I think, yeah, for a second I was really, happy about being out there on the poster. But after some time, glamour looks really nice from the outside, but when you go deep inside the glamour, you actually don't want to be there.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you.
think it
Thank you.
staying grounded. Yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else
Yeah,
have any questions? You can either unmute or put them in the chat box.
How do you when people pull you down? How do you pull your back? How do you pull yourself back up?
So
Pull you down? How do you, bring yourself back up? I think, um, one, don't get affected by it. Listen from one ear and move from the other. People are always, so like I said, people, the way people talk to you, if something really rudely, are their own reflection. They're they're trying to play themselves on you. So don't take them seriously. Life is really easy. Do not take life seriously. Just go with the flow.
What's your suggestion, Sima?
And yeah, and that's a skill by itself, not letting people pull you down. And there are always going to be people around you that are going to pull you down. And
Yeah.
you should know what you are, you should know what you're good at and how you're doing it. As long as you know that, as long as you know yourself, they won't let you won't let them pull you down.
That's very true. So somebody just asked me an interesting question for you. Had the role you played, did it influence you in any way?
Yeah, so I'm sure for every actor, every role they play has an influence on them, because acting is something like, you it's something you discover about yourself. Each character brings something in you that's hidden, that's something you don't know. It's something, it'll bring that something out out into the front.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
always going to be there. So every character I'm going to do in the future as well, it's going to be it's going to have an effect on me, and it'll bring out something that I don't know about myself.
That's very interesting. So, like, you can say that every time you're acting the role, it kind of opens up something you didn't know about yourself.
Yeah, because acting places you in situations you wouldn't be in real life. So in
Yes.
that movie I played a role of a delivery executive, and I've played different situations, and those situations I wouldn't have been in those situations if not for the movie. If not in real life, I wouldn't be in those situations. And how I would react in those situations and how I would feel in those situations really bring out something that I don't know about myself. It really helps discovering yourself to act. That's one thing I really like about acting. And you get to be a delivery boy, you get to be a driver, you get to be a pilot. Something different every time, and you discover something new every time.
That's very interesting. Thank
Sorry,
you so much.
sorry,
Yeah.
Zaira. I have one more question and I'm not able to hold myself. I know it's over time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Simha. Yeah, you were talking about the characters, and sometimes it's very difficult. Will it be very difficult to distinguish between what is yours and what is the characters? And will there be any remnants left saying, oh, this is the characters that is in me and it's not mine? You
Yes,
know,
yes, ma'am.
Am I sounding right with the
Yeah,
question?
yeah, yes, I definitely do. So there are few actors who practice the method acting, and I think for them they they go into the character and they actually truly believe that they are that character, and it's kind of difficult for them to even come out.
Yeah.
It's a practice that not everybody does, and so it's difficult for them to let go of that, and
Let go.
they carry it forward, and it tends to happen. And that actually is a practice as well, to let
Okay, so
go of.
it comes over a period of time because sometimes we just carry these things, no, not just as actors, also, even for us as people who are not in the acting,
Yes,
uh, you
definitely.
know,
Yeah,
we
it's
just carry these things that, something is not mine, but somebody's told me that I've been in that space, and so I carry it forward.
true, ma'am. Very true. It tends to happen, especially with small things like small body language changes, small things like that. They tend to
Yeah.
stick with you
Yeah.
for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and suddenly
That's very true.
we might be like, oh, this is not me. It is, I'm just carrying it for some time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure with Grishma too, this must be happening. Grishma,
Yeah, it does. It does. It's very
you,
hard to come back to
yeah,
yourself and just be like, okay, this isn't me, and I need to be the person who I am again. It
yeah,
takes a while to come back.
yeah. Very interesting. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys so much. Our time is up. Thank you so much, Simha and Greeshma, for joining.
Thank you, Zaira. Thank you for
Yeah,
having.
it was lovely talking to the both of you.
It was really lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for
Bye.
joining
Have a
us
nice
today.
evening, all of you.
You too.
You
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Tomorrow we have Mayuka presenting, and she's going to talk about wildlife. So it'll be the same time tomorrow, 6 to 7 p.m. I hope all of you can join. Thank you so much, Simha, for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.